Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my cowed girlfriend, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up? Why am I cowed?
Not much. It's been a great week here at the Late Fee. It is, or at the 90210 show. It is October 3rd.
Yes.
1997.
Congratulations.
Carol, we got some mail.
Yeah, we're not talking about that until Friday.
All right, we'll talk about it on Friday, but for I guess there are some people that probably just listen to the Buffy show. We have a Buffy show, everybody. It's called Slayer Talk. If you want to take a listen to it, it's releases every Friday because that's when Buffy the Vampire Slayer comes out on the WB.
Yeah.
So take a listen to it if you want, but for those of you who are fans, I mean, just rub your grubby little hands together in like a mad scientist would.
What the fuck?
You know, over and under like a mad scientist would.
So weird.
In anticipation of some just glorious news that we've got coming on Friday.
Yeah, stop gloating. You know, more people might vote, okay? It could happen.
Oh, yeah, if you want to, for those of you that are in the know, if you want to vote on the intros for Slayer Talk, late fee 1994 at AOL.com.
Yeah, we're accepting votes all the way up through Thursday.
I guess, yeah.
So
anyway, we didn't watch Buffy for this.
no, we watched
90210 for this.
We watched Kelly hoover through quite a bit of cocaine. That's what we watched.
She really did.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, Kelly is Kelly Dustbuster Taylor.
Like, I mean, she doesn't do anything halfway, does she?
Fuck no.
I mean, she ends up in a cult.
Right.
She ends up addicted to cocaine.
Yeah.
She I don't know.
She was the class slut, I guess, in high school.
Right.
She does nothing halfway.
She was a cover girl.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess the only thing she did halfway was Brandon. You know? Like,
wow.
I mean, they got engaged.
Poor
they didn't get
Brandon.
married. So.
She said you can put the tip in, Brandon.
Oh, jeez. So, like, last episode, she had moved in with Colin.
Yes, because she moved out of the beach house because
Malibu Barbie beach house.
Yeah, she didn't want to. Yeah, Malibu Barbie moves out of her Malibu Barbie beach house because Malibu, what's Claire, I guess.
Donna? Oh, Claire.
Malibu
Yeah.
Claire didn't want a vial of cocaine in the house. Just in case it would upset the police, as you said. Police are just... I still think that's so funny to me. Just imagine criminals like walking around and be like, hey, keep it down. You don't want to upset the police.
You don't. You definitely don't.
Like they're all kids or something like that. Don't let them know. They'll get upset.
But, I don't know. Was it this episode or last week when he said, you don't need to ask?
It was last week, and I said that was a fatal error.
Well, I believe it was demonstrated to be a fatal error this week.
Yeah.
Well, they're already out. And so, like, we start out with them having no cocaine.
Right. And she's all fucking jittery. And actually, I will give Jenny Garth some well-deserved credit in this episode because I've thought that her cocaine acting was, kind of bad. Her dried out, I need a fix acting.
Very good.
Is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think even her high acting in this episode was decent. Like, I think she did some studying. Some method acting.
Right.
But,
she went over to, I don't know, who in Hollywood probably does cocaine, allegedly, now. I could tell you who was rumored to in the 70s, but...
I mean, I just kind of assume all of them do.
Like Stephen King used to, but...
Isn't that kind of like the rich people drug? I mean, like,
well, yeah. I mean,
in Detroit, it's like, crack on the streets, right? But like, I think in
Whitney,
like
Houston.
Beverly Hills, it's still powdered cocaine.
Still powdered. I like my cocaine powdered, please. Not rock form.
I like to
salt.
snort, not smoke. Thank you.
Yeah, Whitney Houston. She hung out with Whitney Houston, allegedly. I found somebody that allegedly does cocaine.
Who?
Whitney Houston.
Oh, who hung out with her though?
Jenny Garth.
Oh, okay.
For method
I got
acting.
you. Yes. Okay.
Joke constructed.
There. Good
Aren't
job.
you glad that you were all part of that?
Anyway,
I feel like a lot of this show is just us constructing jokes. Like this is all the planning stage of jokes that we could do. And then afterward, we should make a tape of the completed jokes.
oh come on now, people don't want polished. If they did, they wouldn't be listening to these tapes.
That's true. You guys want the process, right?
So, speaking of the process, Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie Onassis.
No, Jackie Kelly's mom is at the Peach Pit
Yes, she
waiting
is.
for Kelly. With who else was fucking there? It was Donna.
I don't know if anybody was fucking there. I didn't look backstage.
No, it was Donna and David. I think Donna, David, and Kelly's mom.
Donna, David, Kelly's mom, Jackie.
Brandon
was there, but I don't know if he was there for that. I think he was there in proxy for the audience because he goes up to Nat and he's like, "Hey, what's going on here?" or whatever, and he's like, Nat's like, "Oh, the whatever intervention for Kelly."
Yeah. So Kelly is supposed to go meet her mom. She really wants to go meet her mom.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to disappoint her. I need to meet my mom. She's scared or she's worried about me or whatever.
Right. And Colin's like, okay, but if I'm late to go meet the drug dealer and we don't have any coke, I don't want to hear you complaining when you're coming down. And
they don't say anything. They just drive off. But then next thing you know, Jackie's getting a call. Oh, I'm not going to be there.
I really am curious about this. Like, I mean, I guess she has a cell phone.
I think they've shown cellular telephones a couple times.
Yeah.
I know we've seen them in some movies recently. It's always weird to see. And usually, obviously, the sign of somebody super rich. But I don't think she has a cellular telephone. She has a phone in her car.
Oh, wow. That's even more like ritzy, isn't it? Like a car phone?
Well, I've seen, like, a cousin of mine got a phone with a car in it before.
A phone with a car in it? Wow, that is one hell of a phone. I want that phone.
A car with a phone in it.
So she called her while she's on the road then.
Yeah, she called from her automobile.
That, I guess, makes sense.
Driving around in my automobile.
So, yeah, she blows off her mom, which means she's blowing off her intervention.
Which means she's blowing off Colin while he takes her to get more drugs.
And they go to the drug dealer's house, which is weird. I don't think most people sell drugs right out of their house. That seems risky.
Well, so it depends. It depends on the situation. I'm guessing this guy is like an acquaintance of what's his face,
Colin.
I don't know how because he's from New York. Now that I think about it,
right? No, he's an acquaintance because he, buys cocaine.
Not that I've necessarily bought drugs before.
Of course not. Never ever.
But I have heard of and maybe witnessed deals that occur both on the streets with people that are known to have drugs on certain corners and stuff like that, and at houses.
That's true. I've seen it at houses too, now that I think about it. But it just, like, this guy seems like a major dealer, not like...
Because he's not a pot dealer. Not just some fucking... not Shane, whose last name I won't say, who had... his senior year of high school had bought himself a... what was it? It was some really nice truck. Like a Ford F-150. Brand new.
Wow.
And his family was not from money.
Wow.
But Shane was known...
entrepreneurial spirit, huh?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the only time that I ever bought any pot, it was at somebody's house. But again, like you said, it was pot. It's like, who cares? It's pot. Like, not the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like buying a button.
A button?
Yeah. Like a button.
Okay.
Put on your jacket.
Alrighty. I don't think that's what that means. Anyway.
What? What do you think the word button means?
I thought it was a drug term.
Oh, okay. Well, oh, yeah, you can. So you can. That's like an acid thing, or sometimes ecstasy. They'll also put on a button, which is like a little candy thing.
Okay.
But like sometimes they'll put acid on a little, button candy thing, and you just put it in your mouth.
I will not do that.
I will not confirm or deny whether or not.
So they go to this dude's house and get their stash for the weekend.
Uh-huh.
And then they invite some people over that are Colin's friends, not Kelly's friends.
True, yes.
And
yeah, it looks like they did a casting call. Like, that's what it looks like. We want a casting call for some friends to come over. They have to look like fucking bikers. They have to look like they're maybe some rough like boyfriend that Kelly brings home on Married with Children.
Right. Yeah.
They do not look like they belong in this show.
Nah. But Kelly is high as a kite, and because she pokes her head in the room, she's like,
just might.
What?
I said, and she just might. You said she's high as a kite, and I said, and she just might.
Okay. She pokes
Stop
her.
to check you out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let
me go on.
I just might stop to check you out. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Blister in the sun. Got it.
Got it.
Anyway, she pokes her head in the room, and she's like, hey, can I get you guys more beers? And she's just like a million miles a minute. And it turns out that she took all the Coke. All of it.
Yes.
Like I said, hoovered right through the whole weekend's worth of stash.
Well, this is actually the next day.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what interrupts this is that Donna comes over. And it's like she knocks on the door and it's like, hey, it's Donna. And Colin just looks and he's like, hey, let's go outside.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of shit. I mean, I know they're not good friends or whatever because they're all doing drugs and stuff like that and maybe gonna swing later. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the leather and the smoking and the situation here, but it does kind of suck when he's like, oh yeah, we're all low rent. We can't be seen by your highfalutin friend.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of weird. But yeah, so he takes them outside and her and Donna talk and I don't know, she just blows her off though, right? Like
Donna's like, why don't you come home, please, or whatever? And she's like, I don't want to. This is where I want to be and everything. Yeah, she just blows her off.
But they also kind of make up. Like Donna says, "I love you," and Kelly's like, "I love you too." And yeah.
I think she mentioned something about the intervention or something like that. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I was busy. I'm sorry," and all this stuff and everything.
I don't think she called it an intervention.
No. She just says, like talking with your mom and stuff like that.
Yeah, like we miss you, stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, she ends up blowing her off, and then the other two come out, and I think that's kind of how that scene ends.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like you said, he's looking for stuff, and she's like, well, I don't know, maybe all your friends did it. Mm-hmm. And then he completely sees through that, and he's like, yeah, I can't believe you just went through 2 grams of cocaine, which is insane.
2 grams. Like, how many lines do you think that is? Like,
it's a lot.
I can't even imagine that.
So I've heard of guys like allegedly Charlie Sheen. There's someone that allegedly does cocaine. I've heard of guys like Charlie Sheen allegedly going through like maybe 7 grams in a weekend.
Wow.
But that's insane numbers.
Right.
That's like you have to really have an enormously high tolerance for cocaine. For that.
Well, and we're also only one night. I mean, they got the Coke, they had people over, and now it's the next day and it's gone. So
2 grams is a lot.
For like 24 hours or less.
Right. Yeah. 2 grams is probably like $5,000 too, or something like that.
That's another thing I was thinking about. It's like, how rich are these people?
Well, supposedly she got another check from her dad. It came in the mail.
Yeah.
Because I think Donna brings the mail over.
Well, she said she got something. I don't think she said it was a check.
I'm not sure.
But you're right. She did mention that. You'd think that they would have paid that off with a, like, hey, this is what it is. But, like, she didn't even care.
Right.
She didn't even want to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. So Colin says to her, okay, next time you score. You want more cocaine? You score it.
Yeah. Which is reasonable. I mean, I think he's scum, and this is kind of all his fault.
Yeah.
But in the situation they are now in, I think that's a reasonable demand on his part.
I also think it's highly inappropriate of Kelly, because I'm thinking back on it now. When he first started doing it during the Christmas episode, I just want a little holiday fun or whatever, she says something like, you promised that this was behind you. Mm-hmm. So Kelly got in a relationship in New York while she was modeling with this guy whom she knew had a drug problem, a cocaine problem, and her mom had a cocaine problem.
Right.
Like, that seems, why would you put yourself in that situation?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, maybe she just really liked him.
I mean, I guess.
I do know people like that, though. Like, I have a friend whose parent died from smoking, and so they won't date anybody who smokes or, stuff like that. But
understandable.
Also, though, there's the whole thing of where people get comfortable in situations, and, she's used to being around people that need taking care of and all that.
Taking care of cocaine addicts specifically.
Yeah.
That embarrass you during fashion show week or whatever
right.
that episode was.
It sucks that she ended up, instead of, moving on, actually just joining in, but...
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she goes, as you mentioned, to go get some cocaine.
Yeah, she goes back to the house of this cocaine dealer, which is, like, why I feel like, it's not a good idea. Because you just get people showing up at your door at random times wanting to score.
Yeah, she knocks and she's like, hey, I'm looking for something or whatever.
But he was so nice, and he's just like, oh, yeah, come in.
Yeah, I wonder why. We'll continue telling you what happens, and you'll figure out why he was so nice.
Come on in, hang out, and he gets her something from his own personal stash.
Private stash. Like, what's he call it? Uncut or, like, I don't know.
No, it wasn't uncut, but, like, pharmaceutical grade or something.
Grade, that's what he said, yeah. Pharmaceuticals. There's a woman there, I think.
Yeah.
And another guy. And they go off into another room.
Yeah, and the woman looks twitchy, like she's, like, coming down. Mm-hmm. And I think she's going in the other room to earn some more coke.
Apparently, yeah. And so he brings out his pharmaceutical grade stuff. They snort it. And then he starts making out with her.
Yeah, well, she makes out with him, too.
That's what I mean. He's not forcing himself on, like, no. He makes the first move, but she reciprocates.
But I mean, like, she's so high, I can't even imagine that she would or could say no at this point. Like,
yeah, I don't even know if she fully grasps what's going on.
Right. And then he gets up to do something, go to the bathroom. I don't know.
You said something like you heard or whatever that cocaine causes amorous feelings or whatever.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, it does, but it also can, and maybe it's just crack that causes impotence. I don't know.
Oh no!
But I think cocaine will too. Like,
that's conflicting orders right there.
Right.
No, what happens is that chick comes back and cockblocks him.
Oh yeah.
She comes back and she's like, hey, I want some or whatever. Hook me up or whatever. She's like, I'll do you or whatever. Like, she doesn't come out and say I'll suck your dick or whatever, but that's what she's implying. Mm-hmm. It's like, at first I thought they were gonna like to have a 3-way or something like that,
right? And
he's trying to shoo her off because he wants to fuck Kelly,
right? And
obviously she seems into it. I 100% think she would have had sex with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. She's like, hold on, Kelly. I'll be right back. He's like, I don't know. If I give you something, will you leave me alone?
Yeah.
And so he goes to the other room to give her some cocaine so that he can come back and have sex with Kelly. And that's when the other guy comes back into the room.
And the other guy's like, you have a debt to pay.
Well, no. So she's like, hey. And he's like, hey. And he comes over and tries something with her.
Yeah.
And then she's like, that's when she backs away. And she's like, you know what? I'm just going to go tell, I can't remember the drug dealer's name, but tell him, I'll be back or whatever. And she goes to go out the door, and that's when he stops her.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no. You've got a debt to pay. You know how much pharmaceuticals cost?
Which is weird because I thought it was the other guy's drugs.
Oh, I think it was.
So
I think he was just trying to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
And then he throws her down like he's going to, rape her, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's 100% what he was going to do.
She gets in the I'm going to rape you situation more than anybody else on the show.
Yeah, she does. But, so, I mean, I don't know. She must be somewhat discerning.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was going to fuck that guy for the drugs. If she was thinking, oh, this is what I've got to do to get the drugs, and I'm cool with that. And then with this other guy, she's like, no, I don't like him or whatever. Or he
didn't seem very nice, and he was not very attractive. So
yeah.
I mean, the guy she was making out with was, like you said, the guy with the drugs. He's also better looking and nicer to her. So
well, yeah, he didn't. And like we said, I mean, not like he's a great guy or anything like that.
He's a drug dealer. I mean,
but he didn't force himself.
No,
he moved. He made a move, and then he moved in to kiss her, and she reciprocated, and they started kissing. And it's not like he didn't not that he wouldn't have, maybe, I don't know, but his character, like you said, seemed nicer. She seemed open to everything that was going on.
Yeah,
but with this other guy, she was not.
Which is not good, though. Like, what is happening? Like, she was cheating on Colin.
Yeah, 100%.
And, with his drug dealer, like, that's not cool.
Colin would look at that as, insult added injury.
Well, can you imagine?
My own drug dealer.
Can you imagine, she just gets totally strung out, right? And she's basically moves in there because that's where the drugs are, and then Colin comes to score, and there's Kelly hanging on his dealer. That'd be fucked up.
Yeah, that would be. You're right.
But that's not what happens.
Could you ever go back to that drug dealer? Got to find a whole new drug dealer.
Wow, yeah. I don't know if she didn't do anything wrong.
Who, Kelly?
Yeah,
she's cheating on Colin.
But I'm saying, as far as the drug dealer's concerned.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
She did run away from getting raped.
No. That's not what I meant. I meant if you were Colin.
Okay.
If you were Colin and she cheated with your drug dealer, could you go back to that drug dealer?
Oh, yeah, no. But yeah, she does get away. She does get away and run away. So
she gets away because she's she backs up and she's like, no, I just want some more wine. He's like, oh yeah, it's a good idea. And he pours 2 glasses of wine. She grabs the bottle and then smashes it over his head.
Yeah. So she was not as out of it as I guess I first thought.
And then she got into her car. She ran out the door, got into her car, and drove away and called Brandon. And that's when Brandon comes to her rescue, and she rolls down the window or whatever of her car. At first, she's just he's knocking on her window, and she's just staring straight ahead.
Yeah. Was she just you think she was traumatized, because she almost got raped again?
Yeah, I think she's probably playing the whole situation over in her head.
Yeah. And
just thinking about it, and was lost to the world for a minute.
So, yeah, he takes her to the hospital.
Yep.
Which I'm not really clear on that. I'm sure she's going to go to rehab, but was she injured? Why the hospital?
I don't think she was injured, but I don't think he knew.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew what the hell was going on. He knew she got attacked. And maybe they'll do I don't know if they'll do a rape kit or whatever.
No, she wasn't raped.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so her mom's there in the hospital and everything, and she's going to get help now. So will this be the end of the cocaine for Kelly? That's the question.
Think so. I
hope
think this is rock bottom. At one point, I think it was Valerie said, some people just have to hit rock bottom. And I think that was foreshadowing of this.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a struggle, and maybe it'll rear its head back again, a few times or something like that. It's always a card that they can play, if they need to. But I think that I think this is at least the beginning of the end of her drug use.
And then do you think she'll be done with Colin?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Colin might be done with her, too.
I think Colin will be done for the show.
I hope so.
I think it'll be one of those things where it's almost like Ray, where he hangs on a little bit and there's some tension and fighting there. But I think eventually he'll just be like, oh, I'm just going back to New York or whatever.
Yeah, I hope so, because I do
none
not
of his
like
problems will be solved. He'll just still be a cocaine addict going back to New York as an artist.
Right. And then Ginger is
Ginger's back.
hanging around.
You want to go to Ginger? Or you want to end on Ginger?
What else are we going to talk about?
Well, we could talk about, I guess Brandon and Keats, Susan, that I guess their storyline kind of intermingles.
Kind of.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess we can talk about that as we talk about Ginger and Valerie and David.
So it was last episode we'd left off where Ginger had asked for a night with David, right?
Yes.
So this episode, Valerie actually talks to David about it.
No.
Yes,
but that's like at the end.
Okay.
So we want to start first with during that intervention, possible the what's the word I'm looking for? The potential intervention that doesn't actually happen.
Right.
She talks to Susan about Jonathan because Susan's like, oh, I just wish Jonathan would get over me or whatever, and she's like, hey, if she goes, do you know anybody that he could date? And Valerie's like, actually, I do. Somebody that's new into town or whatever, but the gang hates her or whatever and stuff, and so she introduces them.
Yeah.
She takes Jonathan over to Ginger's place or whatever.
Well, they meet for coffee.
Yeah, they meet for coffee, and she's like, yeah, here's Jonathan, here's Ginger. She tells Jonathan that she's easy.
Yeah. And he looks so excited, which doesn't, speak highly of his character.
No. But I guess she promises Ginger this is relationship potential guy. And so she puts them together.
That seems like a liar.
Yeah.
Hey, she'll sleep with you.
That seems like a liar.
She'll sleep with you, and, he'll be your boyfriend.
Right.
It doesn't usually work that way.
Also, real quick, it's Valentine's Day.
Right.
This episode.
Oh, yeah.
And they're having a sex out.
Yeah, like the smoke out.
Like the Great American Smoke Out. It's the Great American Sex Out. And they want people to pledge to not to have sex for 24 hours.
What is the point?
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's for charity, they're raising money, but for what charity?
To abstinence and safe sex awareness.
I mean, safe sex awareness, cool. Abstinence, I don't think a bunch of college kids are going to give money to abstinence fund. That's not...
Well, everyone's like, boo, essentially. Yeah. That's why Steve has to step up and be like, hey, I'll do it. And he signs up and everything. Claire's like, yeah, that was a bad idea. And he's like, why? And she's like, because I'm not signing it.
Right.
And then they have a bet of whether or not he can go 24 hours without having sex.
It seems crazy that it would be that hard.
Well, here's the thing. I'd love to have that bet with you. Like I would jump to make that bet with you because I can't lose either way. You're going to use all your feminine wiles to try. So it's like, and I can hold out 24 hours. It's like 24 hours of teasing and stuff.
You can hold out for 24 hours if I'm not trying. If I was trying, I don't think you could hold out for 24 hours.
Oh, you don't think so?
Nah. Should
we have our own little bet?
Maybe.
Okay. We'll talk about that off air.
Okay.
But so So Steve, I mean, he makes bets all the time that might as well be his name.
Right.
So Steve makes a bet with Claire as to whether or not he can keep it in his pants for 24 hours.
I don't remember what the stakes were.
I don't either.
I don't think there were any. Maybe
they didn't say them out loud.
But yeah, so she's gonna try really hard throughout the episode, of course, to get him to sleep with her.
Right.
And then
wear all this skimpy stuff. They're having for Valentine's Day at the Peach Pit after dark, they're having a pajama party.
Yeah. And Donna's outfit, I remember, was horrible. I'm trying to remember what it was.
It was like a baby doll kind of
I did
outfit.
not like it.
No, it wasn't sexy. It didn't look good. Like, it wasn't flattering, and there was no sex appeal to it. It looked very little girlish almost.
Which, normally Donna has, good taste in clothes, so I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Susan.
Normally Donna's dressing up like a whore mermaid.
Right? I think either Brandon or Susan signed up.
Susan did.
Susan did, yeah.
Yeah, and Brandon was disappointed.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, I signed up. Happy Valentine's Day." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, great, thanks."
It's one day. Who cares?
Yeah, you can have sex the day after Valentine's Day. It's just as special, everybody.
But, it's so funny with Steve. It looked like he was going to explode or something. And, when it finally hit, the 24-hour mark.
Yeah. 8 a.m., I think it was.
Yeah. He, jumps on her. And she's like, I win because I set the clock ahead.
20 seconds or whatever.
They weren't fucking yet. So she didn't win. I don't know what she was talking about.
She jumped the gun. And then he goes, I set it ahead of a minute or whatever.
Or behind a minute or something, yeah.
Whichever way makes sense.
Right.
I'm not going to do the math right now, everybody. But he also fucked with the clock, so.
And so then they end up having sex in the same place they had sex the first time.
Yeah, like the fucking closet or whatever.
It's not a closet. There's a couch and a clock in there. But it
the
was
office. It's
yeah,
Valerie's
office. Yeah. I'm sure that room sees plenty of action
Valerie's
without them.
I scones on that couch. Yeah, because what's her name? Claire's wearing this very sexy, low cut thing and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. She looked hot.
Yeah, told you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I don't know what you're thanking me for.
Oh, when you said told you, I thought you meant told you look like her.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were complimenting me.
I mean, I am. Also,
silly me.
Your boobs are bigger, though.
Okay.
It's true.
Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm just stating a fact.
Can we not talk about my boobs on the tape, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're exciting certain male audience members, aren't we? Anyway, go ahead.
So we've got two couples trying not to fuck on Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Then we've got
Susan and Brandon don't seem like they have too much of a hard time with it at all.
No. I mean, come on, Claire and Steve, they're all about the sex.
Yeah. That's what they build their relationship around.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to talk about? The French Renaissance?
I mean, Claire could.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't think Steve could.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, though.
Yes, sorry.
Shit, you distracted me so many times. I don't remember what I was trying to say now.
We're talking about Valerie and Ginger.
Thank you. So, you said that it was at the end of the episode, though, what I want to talk about.
The David stuff, yeah. Because first, she hooks her up with Jonathan.
Oh, yeah, and they show up at the party, the pajama party, together.
With a plan.
And so they're making out because they're trying to make Susan jealous.
Yes.
And it's not working?
Well, she says it's not working, but her and Brandon are fighting.
Because he thinks she's jealous.
And they have some kind of dance contest.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're Ginger and Jonathan are dancing, and obviously Brandon famously does not dance.
Right.
And Ginger's like, "Oh, I twisted my ankle," and the DJ who's doing the contest is like, "Oh, you got to find somebody else, or you're disqualified."
So Jonathan goes over and asks Susan,
and Susan says no, and he's like, "Come on, Susan, just for old time's sake."
And she punches him in the face.
Right. And at that point, Brandon's smiling, and I think it's over now.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was awesome. She literally punches him in the face.
Yeah. She's like, you want my answer? Here's my fucking answer. She finally stood up to him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, he needed it because he's not listening to just, no, I'm not interested. That's not good enough for him.
So Ginger says to Valerie, I want fucking David now or my 50 grand.
Yeah.
So this is when Valerie pulls David into her office.
And she tells him about the 50 grand, about everything that her and Ginger did. And
the whole story.
Yeah. And then she asks him to do it, which I think is such a fucking stupid move. I mean, the fact that she thinks that this is going to go over and be okay and be the solution to her problem is ridiculous. And he apparently agrees because he goes and spends the night.
He says, let me think about it.
Yeah.
Let me sleep on it. And she says, you can't. I told you, you're supposed to let her know today. And he kind of walks off. He doesn't give her an answer, really.
So earlier in the episode, he had given, I forgot about that. He wakes her up, it's so sweet. He wakes her up for Valentine's Day and he had brought her breakfast in bed from the cafeteria or whatever they got going on in the dorms. And,
yeah.
He had written her a poem about how much he loves her.
It was very sweet.
Very sweet. And so she is now alone in her room looking at the poem and like lamenting because he's not there with her because he's with Ginger.
Yeah, it's indecent proposal.
Yeah, whatever.
All over again.
Not as good, but yes. And in the morning...
I hated that movie.
I love that movie.
That movie just makes me feel bad.
Well, yeah, but I like movies that make me feel bad.
I know you do.
I'm a little fucked up.
Thank God. Or else you wouldn't be with me.
Nah. So she goes and meets them in the hotel lobby.
Well, she meets Ginger.
Yeah.
Ginger's like, oh, here's the tape. It was wonderful, but I don't need to tell you. Blah, blah, blah. You're such a lucky girl. Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you didn't make any copies, right? Which I wouldn't believe anything she said anyway.
Right.
And she's like, oh, of course not,
She says, honor amongst thieves.
Yeah, you had a deal before, you fucking liar.
Right.
So then she fucks off to go back to the Clueless show or whatever.
Yeah, she's got a plane to catch, she says.
And David sits down, and she's like, oh, man, it was terrible, like, thinking about you with her. I hated it and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, I didn't touch her.
Yeah. He's like, she didn't want me. She just wanted to hurt you. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with Ginger? Like, why does she hate Valerie so much? That's fucked up to me.
So I think a big part of it is that Valerie has changed probably. Like, Valerie wanted to ingratiate herself into these fucking Beverly Hills yuppies or whatever. And her and Ginger probably fucking ran scams back in Buffalo and shit like that. Like, I think she's like, well, you're just one of these fucking people now. So fuck you,
I guess. But I mean, it just seems like a lot of effort to go through just to come fuck with her.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
I mean, it's like she's a villain that has little to no motive.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
it's very thin.
Yeah. But so now
so Valerie's like, oh, great. So nothing happened. Nothing's changed. I'm so grateful. And he's like, nah, wait a minute there.
He's like, yeah, we're done.
Because you asked me to.
Which, I mean, like I said, like there's no way she should have thought that was just going to be okay.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm glad that he has enough self-respect to tell her, I'm done with you now.
Yep.
She is vile, though. I'm very unhappy with her. Like, they were a good couple. Mm-hmm. Although, I mean, I guess really, since she's a fictional character, I'm upset with the writers of the show.
Right.
Because they finally had a good couple that were working, and then they do this. But I mean, that's got to be the drama, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, that is the episode, though.
That is the whole thing.
Everything that happened. So, Carol, tell everybody where they can contact our writers.
So, you can write us at latefee1994@aol.com. Mm-hmm. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yes.
And tell your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.